Hello, everyone, dear viewers of the channel. I am Helena, the guardian of secrets, a researcher of mystical phenomena. And here with me is Vadim, a historian interested in folk culture. Today, Vadim, we're delving into one of the most unsettling aspects of Ukrainian folklore, the transformation of a human being into an evil force. It's not just about monsters appearing, it's about a person, someone known, becoming something terrifying. It truly speaks to our deepest fears, doesn't it? Losing your humanity, or seeing someone you know lose theirs.
Indeed, Helena. It's a fascinating subject from a historical perspective. While you focus on the mystical dread, I see these stories as powerful reflections of societal anxieties, moral codes, and even early attempts at explaining phenomena that were otherwise incomprehensible. What specific transformations are on your mind today?
Oh, so many. Let's start with the classic, the vidma, or witch. In our legends, a woman could become a witch in several ways. Sometimes it was inherited, passed down through the female line, often on a deathbed. Other times it was through a pact with the devil, or by learning dark rituals, like gathering dew from specific fields, or collecting specific herbs under a full moon. Imagine the internal battle, the gradual corruption of the soul.
And historically, the figure of the vidma often served a dual purpose. On one hand, she was a scapegoat for unexplained misfortunes, bad harvests, illness, child mortality. On the other, many witches were simply village healers, women with extensive knowledge of herbs and traditional medicine whose practices were misunderstood or demonized by the church or by those in power. The pact with the devil often became a convenient narrative to suppress alternative forms of knowledge.
But Vadim, the fear wasn't just of their knowledge, it was of their intent, of turning milk sour, causing storms, or even shape-shifting into animals. The transformation wasn't just ritualistic, it was spiritual. It meant their soul had been twisted, often by jealousy, anger, or a deep-seated grievance.
And that brings us to the psychological aspect. When a person, particularly an outcast or someone with a perceived grudge, was associated with misfortune, the community's fear could easily manifest into stories of their supernatural evil. It's a way for a community to process fear and assign blame.
Another terrifying transformation involves the dead, specifically the unbaptized, those who committed suicide or who died tragically young. They often couldn't find peace and became rusalki or upyr. The rusalki, beautiful but deadly water nymphs, were often the souls of drowned maidens or unbaptized children, luring men to their watery graves. And the upyr, a Ukrainian vampire, was often a deceased person who, due to improper burial rites or a curse, returned from the grave to prey on the living. Think of the agony of a soul trapped between worlds.
These beliefs highlight the profound importance of proper funerary rites and the sacrament of baptism in traditional Ukrainian culture. To be unbaptized meant your soul lacked protection, making it vulnerable. To be improperly buried meant your spirit could not transition to the afterlife. These weren't just ghost stories, they were moral lessons, reinforcing community values and the necessity of adhering to religious and social norms. The upyr concept, for instance, could have been a way to explain unexplained deaths or the spread of disease, especially before modern understanding of contagion.
But what about the rituals people performed to prevent these transformations? Burying a suicide at a crossroads with a stake through their heart, or sewing a penny into the clothes of a deceased child. These weren't just symbolic acts. They were desperate attempts to ensure the dead stayed dead, that they didn't return as something monstrous. The raw fear and grief behind these acts, it sends shivers down my spine just thinking about it.
Those rituals demonstrate the power of belief and the human need for control in the face of the unknown. The stake was a physical anchor, preventing the corpse from rising. The penny for the child, perhaps a payment to Charon or a final protective token. They are fascinating insights into the medieval mind's attempt to rationalize and control the seemingly uncontrollable.
And finally, the vovkulaka, the werewolf. These weren't just men who chose to transform. Often, a person became a vovkulaka through a curse, through black magic, or even by unknowingly stepping over a magical object. They were tormented souls, forced to live out their nights as beasts, preying on livestock or even humans, unable to break the curse themselves. It's a story of profound loss of self.
The vovkulaka legends resonate with the primal fear of the wild and the animalistic within us. Historically, they could be linked to real encounters with wolves, especially during harsh winters, or even to individuals suffering from mental illnesses that caused aggressive, unpredictable behavior. The idea of a curse provided a narrative framework to explain such terrifying occurrences, rather than just attributing them to random chance. It externalized an internal fear of losing one's human control.
It's clear these stories aren't just fantasy, Vadim. They are deeply woven into the fabric of our culture, reflecting our fears, our spiritual beliefs, and our understanding of the human soul. It reminds us that the line between good and evil, human and monster, can be tragically thin.
And they offer a window into the historical anxieties of communities, their moral codes, and how they tried to make sense of a world without scientific explanations for disease, death, or psychological distress.
The rituals and beliefs surrounding these transformations were ways to cope, to protect, and to reinforce social order.
And I see how those deep beliefs shaped the cultural symbolism, how the spiritual understanding gave weight to the rational fears. They're two sides of the same ancient coin, aren't they?
Absolutely. It's the magical and the practical, forever intertwined. We'd love to hear your thoughts on these transformations. Have you heard similar stories in your families or regions? Share them in the comments below.
Indeed. And if you enjoyed this journey into the darker corners of Ukrainian folklore, be sure to hit that subscribe button and follow our channel for more episodes where we unravel the mysteries of our heritage.